Welcome back to the Rounds of Life podcast, where every round's a different challenge, and we're just trying to make it to the bell. I'm Kaiden Ellis.
I'm Elton Live with Carmen. From cage fights to real fights, we're breaking down MMA, the madness of the world, and everything that life throws at us.
No rules, no judges, just raw talk. Let's tap in. So, today, we're switching gears a bit. This one's not about the fight cards, or the matchups, or what's going down in the cage.
Today's episode is all heart, no gloves, no hype. Just two guys talking about real life, the stuff that happens between the rounds, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
This is about the fighter beneath the surface, the version of us that wakes up sore, stressed, sometimes unsure, but keeps showing up. If you ever felt like you're fighting battles no one sees, this one's for you.
Let's get into it. Life check-in. So, like, no filter. Welcome to the Round of Life.
Here we go. So, first off, how's your past week since the last episode?
It's been alright. Still, like, keeping up the grind, lifting, trying to get as much sleep as I could. Just stuff like that. How's your week been?
My last week's been good. A little unfortunate as well. Started off the week like training, and then getting back into it, feeling myself. Ended up re-injuring myself with a prior injury I had beforehand, and kind of sucks because I was looking forward to, making some moves this summer, but I think the biggest thing now is just really taking time to regroup, learn, and just soak everything in at once. I just gotta stop rushing things. But overall, it was a good weekend. I got to hang out with my boys back home. My family. Been back home from college now. So overall, it's been good. I can't complain too much.
How was that last week in college, though?
Last week in college, it was... Honestly, whole term 3 was kind of weird just because, we only had, the 2 classes a day. So, but, we would go in for, a 2-hour class. But my, first class was only, an hour and a half. And then my other class was, the full 2 hours. But, on the last day, most kids didn't even have class. In my class, we still had class. But, in total, I think we had, 8 kids in my class, but only 3 kids showed up. And I was one of the 3 kids that showed up. So we all got extra credit for showing up, so...
Yeah, that's sick. That's
good. But how about you? What'd you do last week?
Just same old. I'm constantly training, almost every day. Trying to get my eating habits really good. I've been getting them super good now. Oh shit, bro. I've supplements too has been great. Taking all my vitamins, taking extra shit too. I'm drinking a lot of beet juice.
That's key.
I feel great. Yeah, it is. Your health is wealth, bro.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
But like we said in the beginning, this episode is gonna be a little different from the ones we had beforehand. This is more about, I feel like an episode you are all gonna really get to know us, because we haven't had an episode that's like that yet, where we just talk about us. But this one's gonna be like that.
Oh yeah, you guys are gonna definitely see more of an insight of our lives. It's not just all about the fights we watch. Something about fighters is that we're all human, and we all know that too within ourselves. Whenever me and Kaiden would go against each other, even in sparring, we're human, or whoever we're going up against, we're human. Everyone's human. We all bleed. So it's more of the insight on us. The person matters as well, not behind the fighter. At least that's how I'll see it. You'll often see other people care about their favorite fighters and shit too. It's because they also see that they're human. But that was a little spew about humanity.
No.
But fuck. So what's trying to get a little more serious, but what's weighing you down recently? Anything that's weighing you down?
Weighing me down recently? Honestly, like, just having the re-injury is it's a little bit of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, for, like, the first couple of days, it definitely weighed me down. But even now, like, I'm kind of over it. At the same time, I feel like everyone, especially in this sport, this career, you're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way that you're going to have to just take some time to recover and, just work on. It's kind of like an old car in the shop. But I'm not old yet, so I just got to start working on it the right way.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
No,
What's really... Hmm?
There's no rush in overdoing myself right now. The biggest thing is really just, I think the biggest thing I'm going to focus on this summer is taking like a coaching aspect, a coaching perspective, seeing things from a different look, taking everything in, and just really, really learning the game. And that way when I'm back training for a fight and in training camp, I'm still going to be training, but I'm not going to be in a training camp. It's going to be different. And I'll be more than ready than I ever was before.
Yeah. It's about working smart as well, not just hard.
It is.
I like that. I like that. I like that perspective. You're it's like going from like a what's that? What's the most narrow sense? You're like in the fishbowl, now you're going kind of like into the ocean type shit. You know what I mean? Like from like a small circle out to like the big shit, studying it like for like what it is. Like a bird's eye view. You're looking up.
Definitely. You have so many different looks and perspectives as a coach.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's so many things you can just grasp. If like you open up your mind, you can learn so much. And you're the type of guy to implement whatever he fucking can. Like your last match, your last fight, bro. You hit the dude with like one of the most slickest, most fastest takedown, and you just like you pick that shit up from like the night before. Shit like that, like your adaptability and intelligence is genuinely pretty crazy.
Appreciate that.
So, just the outlook on trying to like find new shit, just without even like self-implementing in that way, is just. I already know you're gonna implement it like the right way when the time comes. You always have. But,
I hope so. It's all about timing. Timing is everything. Can't rush timing, but you also can't sit back and expect everything to come back in time. You know what I mean? Because time's limited and you're never gonna give it back. But at the same time, you just gotta make the best of time.
100%.
Especially as an amateur, just you want to rush things to see like how good you are, but at the same time, you don't want to rush things to get banged up, to get hurt, to lose confidence, to what I mean? Because at the same time, like that's everything. Like being healthy, having that confidence, being solid all around, that's what makes the best of the best.
For sure. You definitely want to stay healthy, but there's just shit when like, oh man, I could definitely relate to like the injury shit. Constantly losing confidence. There's times where like I'll have like a really up confidence and like be able to maintain it. It's like women always go live and shit. Like just being healthy is enough for me to like send me over the edge to be my best. Because I constantly got re-injured for a few years, and then it was just recently when I was lifting with you and the boys that I was able to pick things up a little more smarter, like put the pieces more smart. But yeah, confidence is everything, bro. Injuries, like if you can go about it pretty smart, bro, you get your confidence back. But if you tough it out way too much and you're still banged up, it just gets worse. Your confidence gets even lower because you start doing things that you you didn't think that that you would have done, but it's because you're trying to go light on your body too at times. This shit sucks. I'm glad you're trying to get the procedures.
Appreciate that. But like, you know, how do you feel about? Because I know you feel pressure, and I mean, wrestling, MMA, like you feel the pressure and burnout at times, and like, how do you feel with the growth, like outside of?
As of lately,
No, you go.
as of lately, I feel like my growth stagnated. After the jiu-jitsu tournament, uh, I didn't like where I was at during that tournament, even though it was still pretty fun. I just know that with my work ethic and all, I can get to a certain place. But that's where like my battle comes in. Is just like I kind of start to favor one side of myself a little more than like the others. The over, like not the overconfident, but like the over persistent type to like try to get things down over and over and over, which leads to some sort of burnout. So I'm trying to maintain that and like try to like keep myself centered, not pressured. Like when I feel the pressure, I'll start to kind of lean one way. For instance, like I don't have a gym membership for like a jiu-jitsu gym or MMA gym as of right now. I only have like a LA Fitness membership. So I can't work on technique or stuff like that as of yet. So I have to take. So right now, like as I mentioned before, I have different reoccurring injuries, uh, and I'm just healing them up as of right now. But that's where my growth is like feels like we're stagnating. As much as I'm getting my body healthy, I don't feel like I'm necessarily getting anywhere I want to, and it's just because I'm not training. I'm not grappling. I'm not striking like that. I'm definitely trying to like as much as I can. I'm training Robert, Joey, Sam even just to become pretty like good. Like they're loving it. They're picking it up. They're doing it every single day. So I'm teaching them. Like they want to learn. So I'm trying to almost even get them to a certain level where I can actually work with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost building them up to be some sort of like killers themselves. Cause I am hungry. I am hungry for it. That's where the pressure is. Like I want it, and I had a dream earlier, last night, that kind of like slapped me in the face. It just felt I was seeing everyone grow, and like there's people cheering and chanting for them, like, cause they love these dudes. They love these fighters. Like I saw Hamza, Dricus Duplessis. I saw Brian, Kevin, Vic. And I saw Sean Strickland for some reason. And I saw Coach. But literally as like we were all going towards like down a hall, there was like this invisible wall that stopped me. And I wasn't able to go forward anymore. But everyone else was going forward. And then like it was starting to get black. Like anything past my vision was starting to get black. But everything behind me was still there. And that kind of annoyed me. And I was just like, what? Like I knew what that meant deep down. It was just like, I don't know. I'm just not at a certain level that I know I could be.
Mm.
And the way I deal with that pressure is I try to chase it as much as I can, and just try not to let myself burn out. And yeah, just trying to keep the dream alive. Don't want to let that slip by me, because I know I'll regret it. I've already wasted so many months like not wrestling just because of an injury as well, and that already eats on my conscience as is. So I definitely don't want to slip it away again.
You know, something that you mentioned a little prior, like about how, like kind of how you feel like just not be able to work on your skills right now because you're not training. I can kind of relate to that right now. I feel, you know, being laid off on an injury, like a setback, having to take time off, it definitely is like too like away, like almost like depressing, but it's not because there's so much more things that could be depressing. But at the end of the day, like it's just what we love doing, and we just can't do it. So to us, it just hurts at the moment.
It's a love-hate relationship at times with this fucking sport, bro. Like when you're doing it, you don't want to do this shit no more. You start to hate it, but then when you're away from it for a while, bro, you start to miss it. It's like, damn.
I don't know if I got too much of a love-hate relationship with like MMA, but with wrestling, I can definitely relate to that.
Oh yeah, for wrestling, 100%.
Wrestling be draining me at times, you know, just because like people who don't wrestle, you just won't know, but like from the drilling,
hard, bro.
the drilling, the conditioning, the weight cutting, and like when you go to these tournaments, like you go to these deep tournaments, like you're wrestling like depends on your racket is like you're wrestling 3 to 5 times, but like they're dogs, especially in the collegiate level, they're dogs.
Yeah, they're always gonna try to give you a hard time, bro. And you're there for hours too. Oh man, you ain't gonna go out. There's a lot of things that go into it. You gotta like, if you don't feel it, you gotta feel it, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to force yourself to feel it.
For sure.
Like,
you really do.
One of the tournaments I can like think back like that this last season was the NYS tournament, because the whole season I was dealing with an injury. Way before the first like tournament, the first dual meet even started, I got injured in the off season back at school on college, training, getting ready for the season, and got banged up. Kind of like, you know, like they say, pride is the devil. That's so true, because like my pride just took over. Never really gave it its time. Thought I was good. Toughed it out. Kept hurting it again and again and again. Never give it its time. But like the NYS tournament, that was November. I got hurt back in September. I want to say September, October, before the season even started, and I knew that I know Milton remembers. I told him like before like 2 weeks out, a week out from, I'm like, I'm placing at this tournament. Like I don't care. Like I'm gonna place at this tournament. And this tournament was a tough tournament because there was D1, D2, D3, JUCO. It was the NYS tournament, so it was like most of the schools in New York, like at New York State College, were there. It was a deep tournament, and I'm there. Like this is where it gets like, you know, like if you don't know wrestling, you just won't understand. You just won't know. But like, you know, like people, like wrestlers. This is a wrestler, bro. Like wrestlers, best thing during wrestling season, man, I'll tell you, bro, is Advil, bro.
Advil. Oh my god, Advil, bro. Oh my fucking god.
The way your body be feeling throughout the season, hurting, bro. You need that shit. And like I was cooked, bro. Like I'm midway through the season. I got hurt way before the season started. But I was telling myself, I'm telling everyone I'm placing at this tournament. So I'm putting it out there, and I gotta put it in action. You know, like my injury was throbbing like the whole day. Like went from like 2 Advil, or like 250 milligrams, another one. Next thing you know, like I took almost like, I'm straight out. I took it like 900 milligrams, I think, but I ended up taking so much to where I didn't eat, and I had to puke it all out, and still go out there and wrestle and keep wrestling on all that. Puking, like once I puked, I lost all my liquids, I lost all my food, I lost all the ibuprofen. So at that point, like they weren't, like nothing was working, and I'm just going out there, thugging it out, straight up. Then I ended up taking
the coolest thing to see, bro. It was the coolest thing to fucking see, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You were strong and shit, but I knew you fucking had it because the shit you said to me right before the fucking tournament was what Crom told you, bro. If you don't feel it, you gotta fucking feel it. You gotta feel it right in the moment. That always stuck with me. Always, to this day,
That
bro.
shit
To
stuck
this
to
day,
me, bro.
Till even I said that to myself fucking yesterday, bro. I was doing a 200 fucking pound squat, right? And I was like, damn, I low key don't want to fucking do this. I was like, yeah, nigga, you gotta feel it. You don't feel it, you gotta fucking feel it. But you gotta squat that shit. It's because of that fucking tournament, bro. I saw a different side. I saw a really hungry ass side, bro. You said you was gonna place and you placed. That's being the man of your word, bro. Despite whatever the fuck was troubling you, bro. The injury, the puking, straight fucking like that's just straight monster, bro. Like I really don't even know how to really explain it. This drive, bro. You have one of the craziest drives I've seen.
Thank you.
Just awesome.
Sucks that had to be like one of the last times I wrestled. Because
Yeah.
it was like, that tournament, that was like, at the end, I had like one more dual meet. My injury officially gave out that one and I was out for the season. And on the good note, on the end of all that, I was able to get a red shirt. So next year, still technically a freshman.
Running that shit back.
Running that shit back. But shit, I got a question. This is for both of us. But what keeps us grounded when we're not like the hunter or the dream, for example, which is ourselves. If you don't know, my ring name is the hunter and his is the dream.
I'll say a lot of times, honestly, I never felt like I was the dream, or what I was doing was for the dream. And that was when I was just unmotivated. It gets a little dark at times. Like I'll start thinking about things I've done before in my past. Things that's happened, and as to why I'm in that moment. Currently, like let's say like I'm going through a dog day. I don't want to train. I'm not feeling like the dream. I'm not feeling like myself. I get a sense of retrospectiveness. Like I always tend to look back, no matter how much I don't want to. It almost feels like my body emotionally wants to, despite my mind not wanting to. It's weird. It's weird, but I always tell myself I'm here for a reason, and there's a reason why I stepped foot into the gym in the first place. And no matter what's gone on in my life before, it won't dictate the man I will be tomorrow if I don't let it, and I decide to work on it today. And that's what inevitably turns into the dream. I become the man I want to be tomorrow. Little by little, I don't just chase the glory of it, but for me. Like, I know deep down it makes me a better person to just train or fight, bro. Like I love competing. Like I have that itch. Like, even right now, bro. Like, right now, really fucking bad. I want to train and compete. Really bad. And just doing anything I can, bro, for tomorrow, for me, really. That's what keeps me grounded.
And I feel that's the best way to take it, honestly, is just, like you said, little by little, day by day. You can't rush things in this sport because that's what's gonna drive you insane. Like, that's what's gonna drive you insane and eventually burn you out. You gotta, like, life's too short and too beautiful to lose your mind on fighting. Like, we love fighting, but at the end of the day, like, it's always gonna be there. But with our family, with our friends, with our dogs, like, at the end of the day, I feel like that's more important and sometimes you just have to still train, still stay active if you can, but also just, you know, as simple as just watching things, watching fighting, watching fights, watching like coaching videos, clips. You know, you don't just learn from doing things. You learn from watching, from helping, and then also doing. But the number one way of learning is just not just by doing. At times, you know, I feel like the best. Like my coach was telling me, he's like, the best way to be able to do something to perfection is if you can explain it to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So honestly,
you're able to grasp it better.
Yeah, 100%. Cause like, you understand it, you just know it. If you know it, you can just do it. At that time, it just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
But moving on.
So, kind of piggybacking off of that. Aside from just the winning and losing of fighting, how else has it shaped you?
Definitely just like the humbleness.
Humbleness, yeah.
I remember when I first walked in, when I first started training, not just wrestling, because even wrestling didn't quite humble me like that, to be honest with you. But like getting punched in my mouth, that shit humbled me. Getting punched in the liver, that shit humbles you. You know what I mean? Like being, I was low key, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was an out of pocket child, wild child, problem child. And when I first started like combat sports, was kickboxing at the age of 14. It was a punch in the face. You know, best way to explain it, because at the same time, it's literally what it was. But even just like the preparation from it, because like I started training my first time, I believe it was 2019 August. And then I didn't have my first fight until February 2020. You know what I mean? So that's like August, September, October, November, December, January, February. That's 7 months of training at times, because my dad was my coach, and he wasn't gonna send me in there like not ready. He was gonna make sure I was well ready. So I had to train for 7 months and be ready.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like when they came, my debut, still like one of my best memories. My fastest finish till date was my debut. It was the first round, like a minute 30 in the first round, and against a dude who already had like 4 fights, and it was my debut, and he came from a really good gym. But like, I feel like just that, like, being able to, like, that's like, because at the time I was 14, but not to mention I was 14 weighing 160. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, that's what I'm weighing weight around right now, like 160, 170, which is crazy. At the age of 14, I was weighing it. I was a little chunky butt, and I had to get my ass, I had to get my ass down, bro. And like having that discipline, like people say that, oh, that's unhealthy to be calling that way, bro. No 14-year-old should be weighing 160, bro. Like, respectfully, like I wasn't 6 foot tall. I was like 5'5", weighing 160. I was a fat ass, like couch potato. I had to get my ass off the fucking like living room, bro. Like, it was bad. And combat sports, kickboxing, like really helped me with that. Like you said, it's so much bigger than just fighting. Like, just to, you generally get like the dopamine releases from your brain. You get a high off of this shit. You get
For
a high
sure,
off of this
bro.
shit.
Yeah, you do. It's just a drug.
It is.
It's a real drug.
But how do you feel like it shaped you outside of fighting? Like how has fighting like shaped you? Like, besides just competing, you know what I mean?
I was also pretty out of pocket when I was a kid. I was a really nice kid, like in middle school and all, but I got targeted a few times. Like like out on the street, out and about. Um, I just knew some people, but uh, hang around the wrong clique, got jumped, got backstabbed a lot in the street. So I was just like, damn, like that made me learn who I should and shouldn't trust. But that turned me into a more of like a vengeful guy. I would say later on, like I don't know,
Like
I became a lot more violent,
you say revengeful or revengeful?
vengeful,
Like Avengers?
type shit.
Like
like
vengeful. So like
Avengers type shit.
yeah. It's like what, like almost like for forgiving or
For yeah, but it's kind of complicated. Like I didn't take it lightly as a kid. I'd always try to get my get back, even if it wasn't successful. But then later on, I grew from it, and I was just like, you know, like that's just kind of how life goes at times.
like
And
last
then I went
laugh
through
type
more
shit.
shit later on.
I was like last laugh type shit.
Type shit, yeah, exactly. Like I hated losing that way. And in high school, it got way better. Like I was able to maintain myself as a guy. But then, you know, hormones started to kick in. Life was rough. And emotionally, I wasn't stable at all. Like there was no guidance for me at all to like be able to keep my emotions in check. So I had to learn by myself, and like there's a lot of bridges burnt because of that. And I hated myself a lot because of that. I knew I could be a better person because all it really was for me being, I guess, like shit was my emotions just getting out of control. It was just crazy. Um, I didn't know how to feel about it. Everything was so confusing, and that hurt a lot of people I loved. That hurt a lot of people I was really close with. So at some point, I had to suppress a lot of what I was feeling, and then from there, it just exploded whenever I would like get into confrontations in high school. There was at times where people would press up on me, and I'd beat their ass, like just straight up, like just like they touched my shoulder like a wrong way, like it just felt a little too aggressive. I was just popping, like it was just bad, bro. Like uh, my emotions were out of control.
Hmm.
A lot of times they were instigators, so that's kind of why. Like I would always opt for the most peaceful option, but like you start poking the bear, you're gonna start
Exactly.
like fighting. So I didn't like that, and there was people I knew that didn't like that either, and they were seeing me almost go on some sort of downfall, and I didn't like that narrative at all either. So I got into boxing. It kind of made me a little more uh peaceful, I guess, just because I kept getting hit in the face. And I don't know, that's this low key sometimes what I just needed. And then I got into wrestling, and then wrestling completely humbled me, bro. It was a whole different experience. Getting held down, you have to actually find a way to get the fuck out of there instead of just like I don't know, some like there's times where you can just scurry away if your footwork's fine. But when a dude has you held down, bro, you gotta know how to get the fuck up. So I don't know. I guess that just shaped me to be more stable emotionally for sure. Like wrestling these years, bro, and especially college wrestling, bro. Like it made me such a grounded person nowadays, bro. Holy fuck! I honestly didn't think I would have made it this far if like my emotions were like still really bad, bro. Like nah, like right now it's good. Like I could say I could truly say at times that life is good because like I know how to handle myself. Like it really feels like I grew. Um, you know, in like a way every kid should be able to grow. I guess like just their emotions getting in check. And I would thank my coaches for that too. My high school coach, really really solid dude, bro. Like his ways, he's he's artistic with violence in a way too as well. Like he would always opt out for the peaceful option.
Mm.
But if if you gotta get a job done, you gotta get a job done, and your mind has to be at a certain headspace to do that. And that's what attracted me to Franchi too at times, because he was just a super like potent version of it. But yeah, just fighting just made me grounded, and I love that.
How do you feel that like when did you realize, based off just like combat sports like with MMA, boxing and wrestling, like when did you feel like it was more than just like you could tell it's just more than just a sport for you?
I would say probably the NYS tournament. That's when it clicked in a lot more. That there was way more than a sport. Or just when we were just training together, like it didn't feel like it was just the sport at times. Like it would feel like I was genuinely growing into something. And at times I didn't know what that was, but I was excited for it. I was just like I wasn't I wasn't always looking forward to a match. I was always looking forward to how I feel in it. I don't know. It's a little weird to explain, but for sure the NYS tournament just made me feel whole in a way, holistically. I don't know if you remember, but like after the tournament when we were just chilling, there's like a wave of peace, bro, like a wave of calm. It just came over both of us, bro. Just like weight lifted off the shoulders, bro. Like that feeling alone, to be able to carry that into my everyday life, bro. Once you've wrestled, everything's easy, bro.
What was that? Dan Gable, right?
Dan Gable, I think so, yeah.
You know, it was like the preparation for the war, and the battle was over. You know.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
For sure.
Honestly, I could say, like, in my life, like honestly, I think that tournament was like the tournament I scrapped the hardest my whole entire life. I never even scrapped that hard in a high school tournament, to be honest. I was scrapping.
Yeah, you were. The fuck.
But like I've noticed, like that's why I love college wrestling, because that's really what it is scrapping.
Just scrapping, bro. It's a playground for scrapping. Fuck. You can't do that shit in the hallways or nothing, bro. This is the only place you could do that. Just street scrap, bro. Just fight another dude.
Like last season, I can genuinely say like I regained a whole new love for the sport. Like, cause before, like I said before, it was always like kind of like a love-hate relationship with wrestling. At times, it still is a little bit, but not like it's more love. It really is, because at the end of the day, like I know what goals I want and objectives I want in the end of this, and I know what I'm capable of doing. Like, and I feel like the NYS tournament showed me like where I really could be. And especially like just working with Franchi and being out of money, I feel like I can just grow the most there, both like wrestling wise there, because I like the way we work on our technique. You know, like my bottom, like not my bottom, but like my top control, my top right out, like I was hitting shit I never even hit before. You know, I was holding like I had like most of my matches I was having minute plus control time, like riding time, which riding time is key in college.
Fucking great, bro. Awesome. But so aside from just like us ourselves, like us the fighters, who's in your corner? Who's supporting you the most? Keeping you, keeping you sharp.
Definitely, just like low-key the same people who were in my corner during fight night and outside of fight night. but still my coaches, like my teammates, my friends, my family, you know, or my girlfriend, most importantly. You have to have like people around you that keep you grounded.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing too I'm starting to realize is you gotta have you gotta have people around you that keep it a buck with you.
Yeah.
They can't be no yes man, you know what I mean? And just making your head be big just to be big for no reason, you know? They gotta hit you with reality at times, because when reality does hit, it's gonna hit. And I feel like the person who really does that well for me is like Karam. You know, like I'm talking about, like, for one of my fights, one of my last fights, you know, I was fighting a really good fighter, and at the time I was a huge underdog. Like, I was thinking, like, he was like 70% favorited, like almost like I think he was meant like 80% favorited, and it was a huge underdog. And honestly, I don't even care about that shit, but it's just like I knew going in I was gonna be a huge underdog, just because of how young I am, and people look at me as in like, oh, he's not that technical, or like, oh, he's got holes and all this and that. But like, you know, like I told you, like, I know that. Like, I know that's why my ass is in the gym, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta work on shit. Like, everyone's gonna have to work on shit. But the thing about me is, like, I don't care who is in the cage with me, but like when those doors close, like, with me, bro, the house is on fire. And you're gonna have to find a way to get out. Like, I'll bring the fight out of anyone. I'll bring the fight out of anyone.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, wrestling, fighting. Who's in your corner outside of fight night?
There's only a few people where I would just say you. My family. Mostly like my brothers. Pretty much it at times, bro. Like I'll have people rooting for me, just like people I know. I guess just like sending me support, sending me love every now and then. Yeah, people I really used to know at times. Yeah, like but I don't know, I don't know why I'm stuttering on it, but like, okay, for sure, like there's this dude, his name is Jordan. You remember him, JP?
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and him used to hang out a lot during work and shit. I met a lot of people during my retail shifts, and all of them, bro, they show love. Like, they always want to see me do the best and shit, but for real, like the ones for real supporting me in my corner, keeping me grounded, would always be you and my family. Cause y'all always kept it real, bro. Like, y'all always made me see what I should always sharpen on. And aside from just that, bro, myself, like, I know me more than anyone, and I always try to keep it real with myself too. Never try to let myself down. Cause once I let myself go, that's like, what's the point of anyone else trying to like help me out? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a waste of time, and I don't want that to be a waste of time. So I just try to keep my head strong as much as I can, and from there just like do whatever.
Head strong. Well, like, off that, like what you were talking about with your family, like your brothers, your friends. How do you like? How have they helped, like, shaped you through your journey as well, and help, you know?
Yeah. With my brothers, it was crazy. I guess like back in the day, I don't think we got along on that much. But and then compared to today, bro, everything's all love, everything's all real, like nothing's filtered. It's for real, just energy, like it's just straight vibes. And I'm always the type of guy to lift that vibe up, and then they always reciprocate that. And I guess they always just like that energy. Always trying to create that sort of environment.
You always have that positive energy around you, good energy.
Always trying to make that shit right, bro. There's no point in having such a dull moment. You know what I mean? What about you though? And what is your support system done for you?
Uh, like people who showed like helped shape me around the way was definitely like, the people that I mentioned. You know, family, friends, my girlfriend. You know, I feel like even just myself growing up, taking on my own responsibilities. You know, getting closer to even God. You know, God's like a huge part of that as well. I feel like for me, huge part. You know, finding like having like an actual like faith that you believe in, but you also know that believes in you and you can feel is I think what helps the most honestly at times. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, your family always is gonna be like, I feel like to an extent a little bit naive, you know, just to give you that confidence at a point. But at times you need to hit, like, you really need to just like look in the mirror and go through those deep, deep thoughts, you know, because the only person who truly, truly knows is your creator and you. Because at the end of the day, those are the ones who are gonna be facing it, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'll like, don't get me wrong. Like I have like a team. I have a family. I have a team that I train with. I have people in my corner. But at the end of the day, when those doors lock, you know, and even like on the outside, like when I'm traveling alone, when I'm alone, like when it's just me, at times like you're gonna have to make decisions for yourself.
You definitely gotta know yourself in that moment, bro.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like that's what combat sports has helped me the most is really get to know myself because it really tests you and pushes you to the limits to like see what would break you, see what like where you are at.
That's that's one of my favorite aspects of it too. Of fighting. You literally get to see yourself in that moment. You literally get to feel the most raw version of yourself. Get to see the most raw version of yourself. What choices will you make? How will you step? Will you carry that same confidence? Will you be as potent as you say you would be?
How would you climb
Like
when you fall?
how would you climb when you fall? How will you land when you fall?
Mm.
Shit like that. Like it's such a real moment between two, like just yourself, honestly, at times. Sure, it could be a war between two people, but knowing yourself, bro, is so more
I
important.
think that's the biggest like obstacle and battle you gotta win before every time you get in the cage is beating yourself. You know, knowing
Yeah.
that you know yourself to the limit and you're unbreakable. You know,
Mm.
that's just the mindset, the confidence. And don't get me wrong, people bring that to you, but you know, like I feel like David Goggins explained it the best. Like motivation and discipline, you know, that shit's temporary. You're just gonna have to build like something within inside you, like a system inside you that is just built mentally, dialed in your mind, that is just there and it stays.
Yeah. Yeah. Like another living force that craves those things. That needed to almost survive.
You know, like on this journey, like has there been times that, or moments where you felt like alone, even with like the people around you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like my head will uh, I want to say nowadays, but it used to get into heavy dark spaces where it just felt like I was just lonely. Um, I figured that was just because I was just trying to. I was so deep into growing like myself, and I guess that's what that comes with loneliness at times. Just building yourself the most, trying to know yourself the most. When you're getting to know yourself, you're really only knowing yourself at times. Sometimes there's no space for another person. Um, in almost in any sense, romantically, platonically, even like parental at times. That's for me. Like whenever I feel truly alone, it just like it means I'm trying to look within. That's what I've learned. Like yeah, that's actually what college taught me a lot, and especially during our season. But what about you though?
Um, yeah, definitely. You know, like
Yeah.
I've had training camps where I felt a little alone at times. Like not no MMA training camps. My MMA training camps, I always had teams around me. But like kickboxing wise, there's a couple of fights and training camps I went into where I felt like it was a lone wolf type shit, straight up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I feel like that's also like, you know, I talked to my coach like, he's gone through shit like that before. I talked to both my coaches; they both gone through shit like that. And honestly, I feel like that's just a test thrown at you too, to be like, are you really in love with this? Like, you really enjoy this? Because if you really are, then you shouldn't need an entourage to push you to do so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you should have enough grit and just energy towards doing what you want to love, like what you want to do and love. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
should. It always helps to have people push you along the way, but at the end of the day, deep down inside, it should be what you want to do.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
You know, and I can't. You know, training camps get tough at times. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I be my coaches know. You know, a little bit with like the pressure of the fights, from the weight cuts. Nigga be acting like a diva at times. I can't lie. Uh, but like at the end of the day, like they like having like people around that know how you are, but also know how to help that too. To like my last couple of fights, I haven't felt like that at all. Everything's been really smooth and good. But also, it's like puts me like knowing that I'm like that. It's knowing like I'm like that at times. When I get to a point to where I'm able to like isolate myself for a training camp, I would much rather do so, just so it doesn't affect certain people around me. Like
Hmm.
I don't want, you know what I mean? Like I just don't want them to see how ugly this shit really could get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just from like
Yeah.
the mental side of like what it does to me, or like the injuries. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
if it was
I know
easy,
what you're
everyone
saying.
would be doing it, but it's not.
You definitely don't want people to see you suffer at times too, for sure.
No,
Like,
you know, and that's like honestly, that's one of my biggest. That's just one of my biggest like uh I guess you could say, like, warriors when you go out there. It's never losing. It's always just letting down the people that I love and love me down. You know what I mean? And I don't care who you are. If that's something that doesn't affect you, then I don't know. You know what I mean? But I feel like that affects most people. That's one of the most worries is just letting people down. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I know there's people out there that believe in me just as much as I believe myself, and I take pride in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
True you.
Huh?
It's the true version of you that people know, bro. No, I know. Fuck, bro. Like, see, I've seen ups and downs, dips and highs, bro. You've always, I don't know. You've always been able to like stabilize the ship. You know what I mean? You always kept it going on the right track.
Life's just gonna be life, and sometimes you're just gonna have to find a way around it or through it.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, like kind of like you said, like how there's no point of dwelling on a dull moment. You know, there's no point.
Yeah. For sure.
And I feel like that's how me and you relate so much and click so much is because like we know there's so much other things to just like enjoy in life, like nature, bro. Like we both love nature, bro. Like nature's like people just like look at nature at times and be like, you know, just drive like past it, but like so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so many joys in the world.
There really is. Like,
it really is.
This life is beautiful. Like you can't just be like. You can't be in your feels for too long.
For sure, bro.
You can't.
100%.
But you know, talking about how you feel, how do you handle pressure and self-doubt and like the fear of failing?
I embrace it. I fully let myself feel it, bro. Like if I truly feel like a failure, bro, I'll really let myself have it. Really let myself feel it. Let myself go through those motions because I don't want to be in that state where I want to be a failure for too long, bro. For sure. That shit gets annoying as like sometimes, bro. You like I like all that self doubt, the fear. Like for me, it bugs me. Like if I'm feeling it for a little too long, it starts to really piss me off. So that's kind of that's where I rise above it. And there's no more fear about it. There's no more self doubt because I know I'm outworking my doubts and my fears. I almost not overtrained, but I outworked myself to a point where I just don't have those doubts and fears no more. Where there may be new doubts and fears along the way somewhere else, maybe down the line in the future. But what matters a lot more for me in those moments is if I let myself truly feel those doubts, those failures, and then work on them, it's probably not gonna hit me again. Those same fears and doubts, they're probably not gonna hit me again. Just because I already know I cleared those hurdles.
100%. And that's like, kind of like what I was like telling you like before my fight. It's just like that night was already planned out. You know, the results of that night was already planned out. What was gonna happen was gonna happen. And at the end of the day, it was meant to happen for me to learn, for me to grow. You know, and you can't stress about the what is. You can't, because that's when you lose your mind on that. You lose your confidence, and you just gotta trust. That's the biggest thing. But I definitely relate with like the embracing it 100%. Because you can't let it eat you.
Yeah.
Because you try shying from it, that's when it's gonna get, the nerves are gonna get kicked in, the second thoughts are gonna get kicked in. Next thing you know, you're not gonna be doing it anymore.
Mm. The more you run away from something, the better of a chance you're likely to experience it or whatever. Like in a spiritual sense, the more you shy away from something, the more it'll probably come back stronger. Like it's just a force. It's just like it's kind of like gravity. You gotta feel it in the moments because it's probably not gonna be as bad in the moment. I'm not gonna lie. Rather than just from running away from it, kind of just eats at you, almost like an untreated disease.
Mm. Like the disease of regret.
The disease of regret, yeah. Yeah.
When do you feel strongest mentally, and when do you feel like, without giving, like, you don't want to give any of your opponents like that kind of way, but like when do you feel like kind of like most vulnerable at times?
Um, I would say the strongest I feel is when I'm doing it every single day. And doing anything every single day, keeping it as almost like a routine. Knowing that me myself, I'm I'm holistically doing something with everything I've got. That's when I feel the strongest. Even if I'm not all there physically at times, perhaps something is going on. For instance, like an injury or an ache, bumps, bruises, whatever. My the strongest I'll always be is when I'm doing it consistently.
Mm.
And when I'm the most vulnerable is when I'm not doing it as consistent, for sure. Like, it doesn't matter as much as to what's going on, per se, unless it's really, like, debilitating, and I cannot do anything about it, type shit, like. But, yeah, my vulnerability comes from inconsistencies, and not sharpening myself up. So that's it just plays hand in hand with routine.
Yeah.
What about you, though?
Yeah, like kind of piggybacking off like what you said with my strongest mentally. I feel when I'm most active, and when I'm having the most fun with it. Like when you're having the most, when you're actually enjoying it, that's when it becomes dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you gotta get like you just get a high off of that shit.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, for most vulnerable is when I feel most vulnerable, which is like injury wise. Like besides that, I really never feel vulnerable. It's just about, my mind is usually always solid, but the only thing that can affect my mind is my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like constantly thinking about something that I know I'm a little banged up. Am I forcing it? Am I pushing it too soon? Like, you don't know until you know. And like, shit sucks.
Yeah. But aside from what's it called? From all that, I don't know. I had a brain fart. What's the biggest like misconception people have about you? Like just like perceptions. Now I kind of want to get into like this perception talk.
I feel like even ever since I was a kid, which at times I could see why people would think so when I was a kid, but not so much now, just because it's not like that. But I was more like an arrogant kid, like cocky kid. But now I'm just like a confident kid, a confident man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people, I feel like at times mistake my confidence for arrogance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you though?
I'll say kind of really like similarly, like one big misconception people have about me is that I'm way too nice. Shit, I'm really just being the most cordial I could be in the moment, because you never really know what someone's type like going through. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people really just need like that uplifting energy. So people at times people think I just like let shit like walk over me. For sure, there's times where I kind of have like that one time my fucking car got broken into. I wasn't a type wasn't pressing the dude who should have handled that. That was my bad, bro. That was type serious. Yeah. There's definitely moments when like that shit happens, but I would say like 8 times out of 10, bro, it's just more of a cordial thing, trying to be uplifting. Um, I wouldn't mistake my kindness as like a weakness, bro. I could flip this switch anytime I want. Like it's more like just being cool about it. And same thing with my confidence. Like when I talk to people a little more confidently, especially with like old old people I knew, like older friends, they would always interpret that as like overconfidence or arrogance, being like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like you weren't like this like however long ago." Probably because I'm known a little more known as depressed, just because I was like that for a while. But yeah, it's like a shoe being broken into. People kind of just gotta get used to that version of me, I guess.
What's one thing you wish? Wait, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say it.
What's what's one thing you wish people knew more about you, like just outside of fighting?
Everything I do is an art, bro. Low key, everything I do in my life is an art because I give myself holistically.
I can agree to that.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Like everything, like in fighting, out of fighting, bro. Everything is an art. And there's a few people I know, right, or heavy artists. They don't see it like that. They don't see art like that. I don't know. Art is different for everyone else. I know that, but like. I feel like an artist should never bash another man's art or another artist's art. That's just bad energy to put in, bro.
That's so true.
That's just like why
a real artist wouldn't.
Why would you knock someone else's art, bro?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. We're artists, bro.
Yeah.
Same thing about you, right? That's kind of like one thing you wish. What's one thing you wish people knew about you more, aside from just the artist stuff?
Low-key a nerd.
Yeah, at times, yeah, too. Like it's not always just blood and guts, bro. It's like sometimes we just like our shit. Like you like your Marvel.
Yeah, I fuck with Marvel heavy. Like I be gaming it up all the time. Not all the time, but like lately I've been gaming up a lot. Cause now I got my setup all situated now back home, so I've been been getting back into it. You know, like I don't know. I'm just low key like I'd be like majoring in business at school, and like I always be watching like videos and shit on like what I'd be learning and like shit like within like the stock field or like AI and shit. Like I just be nerded out at times because I'm especially AI. I'm really interested in that shit. It's just fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sure. Another question. What's your why when shit gets dark?
My why for when days get dark, I'd say definitely is my dream and my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what my end goal, bigger picture I see is the UFC to go belt around my waist. And my family financially set. You know, that's my why. How about you, though?
For me, I would say my why would be like every time like things do get dark, I almost see like this image of me kind of like walking through a crowd, and you kind of just see my back. Um, I guess whenever things get dark, whether it's like family, situationally, financially, whatever it may be, like just always gotta push forward, always gotta keep walking. Can never stop for too long. No matter what it is, bro, whether it's grueling, depressing, tiring, whatever it is, just always gotta keep moving. Always gotta keep moving.
Always.
Always. No matter what, bro. No matter how dark it seems, bro. Even if it feels like you're walking through the dark, bro. Like, not even finding a way out at times. Sometimes you really just gotta walk through it. You'll find your way out eventually.
You know, to be honest, like, shit. Just cause like I be petty at times, bro. But like, another why of mine is like for niggas who don't believe. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Cause dude, that lights a little fire underneath me at times. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the competitor side, bro.
It's like y'all don't believe in me, let alone think I can do this shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When in that case for me, I always see myself like raising up my hand. I'm like a lot of sweat just fucking dripping down my face and shit, and just a calm after the storm, and then just like leaving the cage. Like it could be a proud crowd, it could be a booing crowd, it could be whatever, bro. I'm always gonna walk back and I'm gonna fucking do it again. No matter win or lose, bro. No matter like situation, whatever, bro. Always gonna do this shit again until I know I got that shit right. Always.
You know, trying to kind of like going off that topic, but like, what's the moment around like along this game, along this path that slapped you so hard in the face it almost made you quit?
My latest injury. Cause that was the scariest one. That shit just made me like. I didn't know what was gonna happen to me. For sure, because it was so complicated at the time. And yeah, that made me like rethink everything. If I for sure kept wanting to do it, but I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to again. I was just scared that I was never going to, but I didn't want that to be the case. But if like worst came to worst, I just had to prepare for that, and then so I wouldn't be sitting on my ass. But I'm glad I didn't put me out, bro. Like, fuck. That shit just scared the hell out of me. That shit almost made me quit. Not immediately, but for sure, like, would have been later down the road. What about you, though?
The time that almost made me quit was probably one of my kickboxing days. Yeah, it was like what I was talking about earlier, where I had a couple train camps where I felt like a lone wolf. You know, it was low key just me, and even like it was my 4th kickboxing fight, going for a title fight. I'm downstairs, you know, because we fight upstairs. They have all the fighters downstairs for the fights. I'm downstairs, and I'm thinking, I'm just going through my head, like emotions going through my head. I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Like I'm stressing out. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I'm giving myself the nerves. Like why am I giving myself this stress and these nerves that aren't even needed? Like why do I give myself this type of adrenaline? You know what I mean? Like, tell myself that this is my last fight. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not telling anyone this. This is me going through it in my head. Like, just going through it in my head. Because, like, I don't even feel like I really had anyone in that moment to really, like, talk to me through it. It would probably just made it worse. I was just better off talking through it in my head. Low-key just going through it. But I went out there. It was, like, one of my best kickboxing fights to date. But, like, honestly, like, that shit, I don't know, there's a good chance if maybe there's different results from that fight, I might not continue. But at the same time, I don't know. You know, there was a point in my time, like, where I did quit wrestling for a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I started wrestling in 2nd grade, and that shit was draining on a little nigga. Like, dude, like, that shit, like, getting pushed on, like, wrestling, people don't know unless they done that shit, bro. It's a different type of drive. Like, that shit would drain you.
Super physical.
Especially at a young age when you just want to go, ride your bike, you know, eat fast food, ice cream, you know what I mean? Like, play video games. You don't want to fucking go roll around, cut weight late at night. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing that shit. So, like, I stopped wrestling, I want to say, from... Like, I always kept... It was weird, because I always kept practicing wrestling for fun, but I wasn't competing. Like, from, I want to say... Man, from, like, 6th grade to, like... I didn't wrestle all in 6th grade. I wrestled a little bit 5th grade, but not much 5th grade. Still, I was practicing a little bit 6th grade because they had, like, these practices at the school. Did modified 7th grade. Supposed to wrestle 8th grade, but, like, school's on dick because I was a problem child, wild child. So, like, holding it over my head, like, hey, if you don't act right in classroom, we're not going to let you, like... Because at the time, I was trying to test up the varsity because the school and team really needed me. But AD was being on dick, so he wasn't letting me. And I was like, alright, then I'm not going to wrestle at all because I wasn't going to do another year modified. So that's when I started kickboxing. But, like, you know, I stopped wrestling then. Yeah, so, like, 8th grade till junior year. I took a big gap from wrestling. Like, competitively wise, I would practice every now and then, but more so for, like, just the MMA concept and, like, grappling, not really just straight wrestling. But, like, I did basically quit wrestling for a little bit, because I was also, like, homeschooled from 9th to 10th, so I didn't wrestle. But yeah, I've had that moment. Almost in both the sports, you know. In wrestling, I had that moment. In kickboxing, I almost had that moment. That I've never felt towards that moment in MMA though. It's just a different type of love. But
extensive history, bro, with wrestling.
yeah. It's love-hate relationship, bro. Like, it really is. I can't explain it. But, and, so, like, at the end of fighting, and when you're all done, what do you want your life to be beyond combat sports?
I wanna have a wife and kids. I wanna or just a wife, bro. Not wife and kids. I want a kid. I want a kid, bro. Maybe a farm, bro. I don't know, or suburbs, somewhere calm, good neighborhood.
Get on that farm, boy.
Don't you gotta go rake them leaves, son? You gotta go rake them leaves, son. Done. You gotta do your chores, son. No, but for sure, I for sure want a kid and wife.
Kid or
A
kids?
good home. Eh, whatever my wife would be comfortable with or capable of. A kid or two, maybe three. But perhaps four. But but yeah, bro. Just after fighting a good ass life, dude, I just want to live peacefully. Just love, bro. There's probably no more wars. Never. Already done proving myself as best I could.
Mm.
Gotta live my life now. Just all love. How do you see your life after fighting?
I see my life after fighting, to be honest, a little bit still involved in the game because, I'll never push it on to my children. But I feel like with me, MMA, wrestling, my girlfriend, I hope she be the mother of my children. She's wrestling, I feel like our children would kind of like fall in love with combat sports as well, and I'd still just be a part of it. And even if they didn't, I'm always gonna have my kids trained just to train to be killed, like train to kill, because in this world you never know.
Yeah.
But I'm never gonna force them to fight if they don't wanna. But honestly, like kind of like how you said with the farm, I definitely want like the farm life. I want a ranch, some ATVs, my own garden, just a nice home. Got the livestock, animals, everything. You're especially like nowadays with the food and shit, like all the preservatives in the food. Like I want to know where I'm getting my shit, and just kind of have that homestead life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want after.
Yeah.
But
I low-key do kind of see myself coaching. Like, it's an art for me, bro. Like, there's ways to teach this without being so pushy. Like there's really creative and like fun ways to teach shit like wrestling, bro. Like peanut butter, bro. Just stay on your opponent. Stay. That's low key a fun concept, bro. Just, like you create the most scrappiest of scraps too, because there's just two guys glued onto each other, just trying to score on one another. There's like fun ways to really go about it, and I feel like if I were to do it, bro, dude, just good energy all around the gym. Competitors or not.
Kind of going off of that as well. Like, what matters to you? Like, when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when you're not competing, what matters to you the most?
Staying grounded, and hearing those cheers later down the line. It may not be now, it may not be tomorrow, but one day it could. Like one day your name could be through the arena, reach the heavens. You know what I mean? Just gotta keep working at it. And if it's not the cheers that you're looking for, then do it for yourself. Like make yourself feel like you're cheering for yourself. If no one's cheering for you, do things that'll help you cheer for you.
Just be productive.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, you say you go about those moments.
Kind of like going off like what I was always told as a kid, always do the right thing when no one's watching. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
The number one thing that matters is not going to be fighting. It's always going to be family. It's always going to be family oriented, being a good man, being a good person, being a good friend, good husband, good son, good brother. Like, that's what matters most. Being a good fighter is just the cherry on top. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah,
not even.
yeah,
It's
true.
just like the little sprinkle. Like it's just a perk that comes with this beauty of life, you know.
The art of it, bro. True art of it.
At the end of the day, I feel like genuinely we all have that fight in us. It's just you just gotta bring it out to you.
Yeah.
You know, we go back to ancient times, bro. We've been doing this shit, but along the way, people just got fought and IG.
Yeah.
But you know, going off of that kind of message, do you have any message to fighters who feel lost, or to fans who only see like the highlights? And like by the highlights, I mean like the UFC victories or like the amateur victories, and them seeing everyone else winning but not themselves. Like, how do you? What kind of what would you advice would you give to them?
Do everything for yourself.
Mm.
Don't chase belts or glory in the name of anyone else, unless it's your creator, yourself, your family, shit like that. And even if the family shit weighs you down, do it just for yourself. You gotta feel that good pressure where you're building yourself up. But if you're lost in that sense where you feel like it's not building you up as much, maybe you should take a little step back, see it for what it is, and then start to make those adjustments. Sometimes taking a step back can help you take 2 steps forward. Um, and if it's about your timing, your time will come. Someday your day will come. You you see these fighters getting a whole lot of their praise and their highlight reels. They they've been drilling movements and they have a certain mindset. And you just don't don't replicate it per se because not everyone's there. There's not one formula. There's not one blueprint
Yeah,
for success.
it's not.
So you got to just make your adjustments and make your reads. And eventually, when you feel comfortable and it feels like it's in your hands, your time it's just all about timing. Your timing will be there. It will come. And everyone's human. Even the top guys are human. They're just doing it in a different way. Maybe you just gotta find your way.
Mm-hmm.
That's really just it. How would you say your what would be one like your advice is for fighters?
Kind of going off like what you said. Like, there's no blueprint on this. There's no blueprint on this. There's no written book on this way of life, on the way of fighting, on the way of anything that's truly factual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel the biggest thing is you gotta find yourself, and you gotta find what you really want. Set goals, but don't set crazy goals that like are unreachable. You know, set goals that are like finding a good gym. You know, training for 3 months. You know, losing some weight, gaining like lifting, gaining muscle, staying consistent with like your supplements, your protein, you go good dieting, what's gonna help you overall, just better yourself, along with the mind and your body, and then like what I said, like finding a gym. I feel like finding a group of people that are gonna be good for you as well, because you can't just do it all by yourself.
Yeah. For sure.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Rounds of Life. Look, at the end of the day, we're more than records, highlights, and personas. We're sons, brothers, humans, just trying to make sense of it all.
And if you're listening to this, just know it's okay not to have everything figured out. So it's okay to take hits and keep standing. That's what life and this fighting is really about, bro.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in. If something hit home, share it, hit us up. Let's keep building the space where being real is the win.
This has been the Rounds of Life. No lights, no scripts, just the truth. I'll see you guys next time.